My name is H.A. Goodman, and I'm an author, columnist, and journalist. And to read my writing and to see my latest CNN appearances and my MSNBC appearances, you can go to hagoodman.com. Donald Trump picked Mike Pence today for his VP. Fine. I'm not going to discuss why it's a horrible pick or what my thoughts are, because Trump is Trump. We know how to handle Trump or Pence or Trump or Gingrich or whatever. Something called Congress. So the people who are coming after you and saying, there's a binary choice, we only have two choices, it's our system, we can't change it. Bush, Nader, oh my God. Guess who voted for the Iraq War? Hillary Clinton. Guess who voted for the Patriot Act? Hillary Clinton. Guess who was against gay marriage in 2013? You bring up Pence, I understand. Who was against gay marriage in 2013? Progressive, who's so afraid of Pence or Trump? Hillary Clinton, the chameleon. Dear leader Hillary, who barely escaped criminal indictments, where the FBI's James Comey had to actually change the definition of intent. So now she was too stupid to realize that an unguarded private server that was unencrypted, linked to an NSA, linked to a BlackBerry the NSA said she couldn't use, would jeopardize national security. She used multiple private servers to circumvent Freedom of Information Act laws. So when Charles Pierce today in Esquire says, democracy is at stake if you vote for Trump, I'm not advocating voting for Trump. But this is the subliminal, the underlying message there in the Esquire piece is if you vote for Jill Stein, if you're Bernie or bust, you're against democracy. Well, Hillary bots, I am voting for Jill Stein. If Bernie Sanders does not go ahead and come back, because he still has his campaign, and we still have time before November. There still could be an indictment of Hillary Clinton. This is the wonderful defender of democracy who is one step away from the jail cell at all times. And one step, well, she's always the target of political attacks from Republicans. I wonder why. Today, poll finds emails weighing on Hillary Clinton, now tied with Donald Trump. Where did we find this? Did we find this in Slate or Daily Beast or TPM or Daily Banter or The Nation? Where did we find this article? We found it in the New York Times, the biggest public relations firm for Hillary Clinton. The house of cards not only is falling, but it's crumbling down. A poll finds emails weighing on Hillary Clinton, now tied with Donald Trump. Defenders of democracy. She's tied with Donald Trump in polls. She barely beats him in an average of polls. This article from the New York Times says 67% of voters say she is not honest and trustworthy. Esquire, Slate, Daily Beast, when will you see that 80%? Do you want to wait till 90% of Americans, 9 out of 10 Americans don't trust Hillary Clinton? Then you will say that Bernie Sanders was a better choice, that Jill Stein is a better choice? Don't come at me on Twitter. Today, some guy says, there's a binary choice. You've been lying to progressives. He's voting for Clinton, the biggest liar, not only, especially to progressives. She's for the Trans-Pacific Partnership. She pushed for it 45 times. She's a neocon advised by Henry Kissinger. This is not hate. I don't hate Clinton. People say I hate Clinton. I'm irrational. I'm delusional. I'm crazy. I don't hate Clinton. Clinton is a political chameleon, and she relies upon brainwashed, weak people to say that it's a two-party system. It's it. We can't change the system. Democratic Party. It was fair and square. She won. Election fraud. Ask David Plouffe in 2008 in Nevada. 200 separate incidents. Real Clear Politics right now, after you're watching this, or if you're on the internet, go to Real Clear Politics as you're watching this. It's July 14th, 2016. Do not say I didn't warn you. Do not say I didn't warn you. Weak, pathetic, progressive establishment beholden to Clinton. Do not say we didn't warn you. Do not say Jill Stein didn't warn you. Do not say Bernie or bust people didn't warn you. Do not say that Bernie Sanders didn't warn you. Clinton right now is above Trump 3.1 points. She was above Trump 4.5 points the other day, then 4.7, then 5 about a week and a half ago, or 6 or 7. She is now only above the Antichrist Donald Trump. Your biggest fear, democracy is at stake, by 3.1 points. The buffoon-in-chief Trump is up over Clinton by 7 in a Rasmussen poll. Okay. If you look at the swing states, there's 130 electoral votes up for grabs. Trump is up by 0.2 points in Florida. Okay. Florida, 29 electoral votes. Are you listening, brainwashed Hillary bot who fears for America? I fear for America with Trump and Pence. Wait, Clinton was against gay marriage in 2013 and used the words radical Islam about 30 times during the debates, especially after the Paris attacks. Clinton in Ohio, 18 electoral votes, up 1.3 points. I don't like Pence. If anything, he's helping Trump. Do you realize, Democratic establishment hacks, your plan to scare people is backfiring? Jill Stein voters, Bernie or bust voters do not fear Trump or Pence. Congress will mitigate their insanity. Hopefully, you will write about how their policies won't work if, heaven forbid, Trump or Pence get into the White House. But we fear Jill Stein voters, Bernie or bust voters, Bernie supporters. Not the Bernie supporters who say, well, I gotta go to Clinton, there's really no other way. No, there's another way. 50% of Bernie Sanders supporters, according to Bloomberg, only several weeks ago, this is a fact, it's in the poll, about 50% will never, ever, ever vote for Hillary Clinton because we fear Clinton, we fear future FBI criminal investigations, we fear more Americans abroad sent to fight in counterinsurgency wars where half to two-thirds of the Americans killed and wounded in Iraq and Afghanistan were the victims of IED blasts. And if you say, well, Trump and Pence are Republicans, a Democrat should be a foil to a Republican. A Democrat should say, no, I reject neocons, like Jill Stein does, the Green Party, like Bernie Sanders does. But you rejected these two people. You rejected Bernie, Hillary bot. Now you're stuck with Hillary. Enjoy. If you get a Trump presidency, now let's look at, 1.3 points up in Ohio. Pennsylvania, only 3.2 points up in an average of polls. 20 electoral votes. Ohio and Pennsylvania. Florida, she's already losing. You need 130 toss-up electoral votes. Hillary bots, do you think you're going to get that? You are only up right now, and you are slipping. You're slipping. And it's not my fault, so don't come at me anymore. On social media, especially you, progressive hack writer, quote-unquote progressive writer, who hates me, who thinks I'm doing a bad thing. Just sing the praises of Clinton. Sing the praises. Say that she's great. Say that she's trustworthy. 67% of Americans find her to be a liar. She has the same favorability ratings practically as Trump. And I'm the bad guy? You pushed for a weak candidate. A candidate who didn't really even beat election fraud. Great many people are saying that Bernie won. She doesn't even have 2,383 pledged delegates. You think she's going to beat Trump, who is a buffoon? But she's only up 3.1 points now. And the emails are not ending. The Republicans are after her for perjury. Then there's the Clinton Foundation probe that the Honorable James Comey. He can't talk about that. He definitely will say he doesn't want his FBI agents to have a private server. That I commend him for. Everything else, he sounded like H.A. Goodman. Then he said, well, there was no intent because she was too stupid to realize that an unguarded private server, multiple servers, would jeopardize national security, and she was sloppy and careless. There's your president. 3.1 points ahead of Trump. Pence is to the left of Trump on immigration and a whole bunch of things. You did this. Enjoy, Hillary bots. This has nothing to do with Jill Stein or Bernie Sanders or Bernie or bust. I'm not falling in line for anyone. I'm voting Jill Stein. She is running for president. She wants to end perpetual counterinsurgency wars where we send Americans off to fight people, insurgents, hiding in apartment buildings, planting bombs and IEDs. And you want to send more Americans off, Hillary supporter, don't you? Nope, I'm not going to allow you to bully me. Never. I'm voting for Jill Stein because she stands for values that you're embarrassed of. Values you won't fight for politically and peacefully. Jill Stein isn't going anywhere. She's gaining power because she's taking power away from you. And you hate that. The value system, climate change, human rights, civil rights, the only platform that actually states where she talks about Black Lives Matter in her platform, Jill Stein. Democrats don't. She would never take money from prison lobbyists, Jill Stein or Bernie Sanders. Hillary Clinton takes money from prison lobbyists. 67% of Americans view her to be a liar. She made up a story about Bosnian sniper fire. She's barely beating nationally Trump, and she's losing in important states like Florida. I'm not afraid of Pence or Trump because Congress will block any of Trump's schemes. If you think that Bernie Sanders' free college tuition would never have passed, if you think that the single payer would never have passed, if you think that breaking up the banks was unrealistic, that building a wall will never pass, the Tea Partiers tried to do that several times, didn't pass, okay? Didn't even get through a Republican Congress. So that's a lot, all of Trump's insane schemes are going to be blocked by Congress because Republicans aren't even on board. So I don't fear Trump. Neoconservatives, and I'll end it with this. Neoconservatives wrote an open letter. It's in a Vox article. Look it up. I'll put it below. Stating that they'll vote for Clinton or they'll push for Clinton because they don't want Trump, because Trump is actually less militant and they can't control Trump. He's a buffoon. I don't like Donald Trump. But he's not going to be controlled by neocons. Hillary Clinton wants political power. She'll be controlled by Kissinger and neocons. She'll send Americans off to war. She will be the target politically of perjury charges, of the Clinton Foundation. You're looking at 4 years of destroying the Democratic Party. While Clinton tries to move it to the right, the rest of the country says, who are these insane people constantly defending a person like Clinton? 67% of Americans find her not honest and trustworthy. That's in the New York Times. The biggest defender of Clinton. Not my fault. I don't fear Trump. Don't fear Pence. Jill Stein voters don't fear Trump or Pence. Bernie or bust. We don't fear Trump or Pence. We fear Clinton. We fear Clinton in the White House, but it's not even fear. I wouldn't say fear. Hillary Clinton in the White House merges Republicans and Democrats into one party on the biggest issues: Wall Street, the TPP, and wars. War and foreign policy, and the authorization for use of military force, the AUMF she will use, the way her neocon advisors tell her, the way Wall Street tells her. That is very dangerous for democracy. So when you read the Esquire article, or when you read, oh my God, it's serious now, you gotta fall in line, you gotta fall in line. No, no, no. Not on my watch. I'm not merging Republicans and Democrats on the biggest issues the way Hillary Clinton would. And really quickly, I'll end it with this. If let's say, Clinton evades indictment or perjury charges, and if she keeps her polling lead against Trump, which I don't see. She's losing right now. So, and we're months away from November. Trump beats Clinton, but let's say she beats Trump. She becomes president. That's 4 years of you being able to tell Democrats, hey, the Trans-Pacific Partnership is wrong. You can't do that because she will push for it. Perpetual wars are wrong. Hillary Clinton, you can't send thousands of Americans abroad. That is wrong morally, especially since we have a suicide epidemic among veterans, especially since we have over 1 million veterans injured and 50,000 American veterans wounded in combat, and close to 7,000 who have died in combat. So that's 4 years of you letting Hillary Clinton and the establishment Democrats know the fight will continue. So Bernie or bust and Jill Stein, Dr. Jill Stein is needed more than ever if Clinton wins. Your voice is needed more than ever if Clinton wins. So my point to you is this. If Clinton loses, do not blame Bernie or bust. If Clinton wins, because I know there's a lot of people distraught and who have contacted me, said, what happens if Clinton wins? These are Bernie or bust people, Dr. Jill Stein voters, people to the left of center, conservatives contacting me. What happens if Clinton wins? What happens to this country? Your voice grows stronger. Your voice would be needed more than ever if Clinton wins. So you have to stay strong and remain as passionate as ever. But finally, don't blame me, or don't blame Bernie or bust, or don't blame Jill Stein and the Green Party. If people vote their conscience and they say they're not falling in line for the lesser evil. In this case, the lesser evil is Donald Trump, who can be controlled by Congress and who can be controlled by a unified left. A real to the left of center movement, not a fake and phony movement or Democratic Party that is really a corporate, that is really moved towards the Republican Party on the biggest issues. Thank you so much for listening. I will never fall in line. I don't care if it's Trump and Genghis Khan. I am only voting for Jill Stein in 2016. And if Bernie Sanders comes back in and says, hey, I want to take this nomination, I'm 100% Bernie. There are millions of Americans who say never Hillary. Don't blame me for that. I didn't start that. And don't blame Bernie or bust or Dr. Jill Stein if Trump wins. Thank you so much for listening.